Hello and good afternoon, Xbox Nation. Welcome to this week's new episode of the Xbox Factor podcast. I'm your host, Mr. BoomStick XL, and as you can tell, I someone that was with us for so many years has made his return. We're a little light on panel members. A lot of people got things going on. Obviously, Retro will be back next week. Daniel McGee will be back next week as well. He got some family stuff, and Umbra hopefully will be here momentarily. Listen, even if it's a two-man show, we are going to figure it out. We have a lot of amazing topics. Of course, the one that jumps off the page is what happened yesterday on social media with Max Scofield of IGN going at Jasper, or Lore Master Jasper, as you know him for. And he's obviously a part of Mav's podcast on Tuesday evenings. Oh no, I'm sorry, Monday evenings. And what transpired was one of the most unprofessional things I think I've seen in quite a long time from gaming media. IGN, we have their statement after this happened. No one as of yet has apologized to Jasper for Max Scofield's behavior, which I thought was unprecedented. We're going to read everything that Max had to say. And of course, as you would expect, folks, I'm going to be politically correct gentleman. I'm not going to use curses. I'm not going to flog Max Scofield, but I am going to give you my very pointed opinion on his behavior. Because if you don't know, folks, most of my NYPD career, I spent not only as a youth officer working with kids, but I also spent a significant time in community affairs. And I can tell you that what happened yesterday was a no-no in any field. It doesn't matter whether you're a police officer, whether you're sanitation, whether you're a fireman, or you happen to be a journalist for working for IGN. That is bad PR 101. And we're going to get into it because it seems, based on Jasper's findings, that they always seem to just make a mistake when it comes to Xbox. And they've been doing this for years. And it really kind of baffles me as as a person. If you keep doing the same thing over and over again, and there is a constructive pattern to the behavior, aren't we all quick to go, you see, this is what they are? And whose fault is that? Is that the podcasting community's fault? No. Is that the gamers' fault? No, that is IGN's fault for being this way and doing the things that they do. Because I was literally just saying this to Mav in the green room. Can anyone in the chat right now? We have over 200 people here. Could someone please point out a situation where IGN went hard pause on Sony for anything that they did that was considered, foul play? I can't remember. But anytime Xbox takes a step out of the line, it's the spotlight. We're going to get into it. Mav, how you feeling, brother? Great show last night. I was there for about half of it. I was skulking. I was in the chat saying hello to everyone. Lots of big points there. We're going to get those points going here. How are you doing?
Doing good, man. It's good to be back on Xbox Factor. Haven't been able to be here in a long time. Sent me a DM after all the shenanigans yesterday, and it's like, yeah, let's do this. I know I was gonna be sitting here at my desk doing some work stuff anyway, so it's a good time to talk, especially with the news that hit yesterday. Jasper, honestly, he's probably relishing in all this, right? He became the gaming news of the week, as he said. It was just pretty crazy for that tweet to blow up on a video that was a couple days old already. Nobody had really caught it. He caught that they had missed the actual Xbox logo on some games that made it seem like games like Lies of P and MK1 and Alan Wake 2 were not coming to Xbox. And so he put that out there. That tweet blew up. But what made it worse was the actual backlash that came from Max Scoville of IGN, pretty much as an attack towards Jasper for pointing out just a mistake, right? So that kind of sent us on a thing last night, and I did a lot of deep diving and going back, memory of a lot of times where IGN has dogged on Xbox or completely came out biased because his thing was like, hey, why are we trying to like spread conspiracy theories and stuff? Well, it's like not really conspiracy if you go back and actually look at all this stuff, right? So we talked about that last night, and man, it's there's a lot to talk about with this. So I think a lot of the Xbox community is getting sick of it. There's a reason why a lot of Xbox fans have abandoned IGN for games news. They are the biggest games media out there, so that to me they hold some level of responsibility also for putting factual information out towards gamers and having unbiased takes. But regardless of that, man, boom, I'm super happy to be here with you. One of the best shows and podcasts out there, period. Lucky to have been a panel member here for quite some time in the past. And, I have to be honest, like just the two of us, I don't mind it whatsoever. It gives us,
Yeah, actually, you know what? A couple of people hit me up. Dusty is going to be jumping in with us, and and listen. First of all, thank you so much for the kind words, Mav. Listen, I found you very early in your YouTube career. Thought that I could help you grow your channel, and your channel has grown. But that's not because of anything I did. That's because of the constant work that you do and Caitlin does, and obviously your panel members continue to deliver each and every show that you put together. So that success or your success has nothing to do with me. I simply just gave you a platform for people to find you, and people have found you, and people have stayed, and I'm glad that I've been a part of it.
yeah,
Um,
appreciate that,
but
dude.
listen, let's see if anyone's here. Okay, so no one's here just yet. So what I'm gonna do,
Should send
okay?
Jasper a link, This may have
You
some
know
stuff to say.
something? I could. You know what? I have. Why did I think of not sending Jasper a link for crying out loud? It's his show. Hold on, just a second. Let me just. I apologies, folks. When you press the start button and you go live, and there's only one other person here, it starts to get a little crazy. But we're gonna give you a good show. Don't sweat it. Let me just send Jasper a link just for for shits and giggles. And see if we can get him in here for a hot minute or two. Let me just message him. Yeah, because you know what? I think you're on to something. I think you really hit the nail on the head regarding Xbox gamers or Xbox fans being sick of the shenanigans. So I have the quote from IGN, and I'm assuming this is their social media team. This is not Max Scofield. This is literally on YouTube, and this is how it should have went from Max Scofield. But this is probably the IGN PR team seeing the train wreck that was Max Scofield on social media yesterday. So they had to go on YouTube to make a statement. This is what they said, folks. Hey everyone. So our original video unfortunately had some mismatched information. While our host mentioned the proper platforms, our on-screen graphics unfortunately did not include that some of the titles were coming to Xbox. This was definitely an error on our side and has now been corrected. Now, that is as pointed and as straightforward as you could possibly get. That is what you would expect from a $1 million conglomerate like IGN. What you don't expect is what I'm about to read to you. Now, Jasper, who I sent the link to, basically wrote, "How weird. IGN only missed the Xbox platform on select games in their video about upcoming games. Hashtag do better." But then he almost let's see. Soon afterwards, Jasper sends another tweet. He says IGN is aware of the issue, and it was just a mistake. I was pointing so that they could take whatever action was needed to correct it, not for console wars, which I didn't think of anyway. So let's get into what Max Scofield had to say. And this is where it gets a little this is where the unprofessionalism comes in. And he simply says, "Much appreciated. Maybe next time there's a mistake, just tweet at us or leave a comment instead of pointing out of instead of posting out of context screen grabs and framing them like you've uncovered some anti-Xbox conspiracy. Just a thought. Now, granted, depending on how you feel about what he said, maybe you're not offended by it. Well, he continues. Let me see. He goes on to say this. This was a snarky defense reply I made after waking up on a Monday morning to a bunch of angry comments making wild accusations about me and my co-workers over a minor mistake that has since been corrected. We took down and re-uploaded the video. And that's fine. That's fine. But he goes on to say it was just a good old-fashioned screw-up on our end. And if it was some pro-Sony conspiracy, the lower thirds probably wouldn't have contradicted what I actually wrote in the script and said in the video. We totally should have caught it, and apologies for any upset it caused. But you see, it's his response that is perplexing. Now, folks, here's the thing. He didn't curse at Jasper, but he tried to make a mockery out of the fact that he pointed this out. And this is where I have a real problem with it. Now, Max Scofield, listen, I don't know him personally. I have talked to some people in some private circles that had some distasteful things to say about him, which I will not repeat, because I'm not out here to start a console war or certainly a flame war with IGN. They're a $1 million corporation. I'm Mr. Boomstick with barely 13,000 subscribers. No one gives a shit, and that's fine. But when these kind of things happen, rest assured that even though I'm going to speak about them, I'm going to be a gentleman about it, unlike Max Scofield. Now, just for some clarification, I had an incident a couple of years ago with not only Max Scofield, but Brian Altano, because, and this is going back a couple of years when I first started podcasting, they had Aaron Greenberg on their show, and I believe that they were unboxing, this is how far back it was, the Xbox One X. And they took out the console, and they were like, oh, yeah, the design's okay, but this cardboard box is something to talk about right in front of Aaron Greenberg's face. And I commented, I made a comment. I added them on Twitter, and they both attacked me. Now, of course, listen, I have thick skin, folks. Nothing Brian Altano or Max Scofield could say that's going to hurt my feelings. It's fine. But you know what? The hashtag be better. That really should go across the board. And that's not everyone. Understand, folks, this isn't an attack on IGN. IGN has a lot of fantastic people that work there. So you can't throw everybody under an umbrella. Let's make that perfectly clear. But this is uncalled for behavior. And the way that the PR team wrote it on YouTube is the way Max should have simply said to Jasper, hey, dude, thank you so much. Appreciate the info. We're fixing it now, and cut it short. Not have 3 and 4 and 5 posts about he woke up to angry messages. Dude, first of all, your normal behavior, you're probably going to get that. And you know what's worse, Mav? He's a comedian, so he understands that if he loses the room, he loses his gig. And I'm sure that there are many times he's been standing up there with the mic in his hand, and he's lost the room because his jokes weren't funny or they weren't hitting. So he understands that. So his behavior is even more unwarranted. I want to get your hot take. Let's break this down.
Wow. Max. I first I gotta say, like, professionalism, like, for games media is kind of by the wayside at the last couple of years, right? It seems like there is this resentment almost towards Xbox fans,
Yes.
they aren't allowed to point out mistakes. They aren't allowed to say anything. If IGN continuously says things bad about Xbox or leaves things out, a mistake that's always somehow against Xbox and never PlayStation. Right. If people point it out like Jasper did, it's all of a sudden we're conspiracy theorists. We're trying to spread lies and rumors how IGN is biased.
Except it's facts in front of you.
Except
right online.
Examples time and time and time again. And we pointed a lot of them out last night on the show. There was a time the guy wore the PlayStation chain and said that Xbox was no longer going to be making consoles on a daily fix video.
Yeah.
How about the numerous tweets from Dan Stapleton constantly taking shots at Xbox, and he's a review editor at IGN. Oh, how about the time when during a Battlefield event, which was an Xbox marketed game, and this was an Xbox themed event, also in the chat of IGN, somebody from IGN forgot to change their account and accidentally posted on the official IGN account in the chat, taking a shot at Xbox, pretty much saying Xbox has no games. Time and time again, these things happen, but we're conspiracy theorists for pointing stuff out, for pointing out the mistakes, for saying things like, what do you mean by this? Why are you saying these things about Xbox? Why aren't you calling Sony out for the same things? Like when Ryan McCaffrey called out Tomb Raider, saying he didn't like the fact that Xbox made it exclusive, yet praised Final Fantasy 16's exclusivity for PlayStation. Numerous examples of hypocrisy, of double standards in the industry regarding PlayStation and Xbox. But we're the conspiracy theorists. We're pointing it out, and it's time and time again, and it amounts to much. Now, granted, also, Jasper, who's now here, thinks it's amazing that he's here, but Jasper didn't ever console war, didn't even fanboy, nothing like that, which he doesn't do on Twitter hardly ever or anything, period. Actually made a point to try and say, oh, it was just a mistake. They're good. He said, it's all good, Max. You know, no worries. Just want to make sure the proper information's out there. Max was so defensive.
Yeah.
So upset about this. He was so sensitive that he was like, how come you did this to me, Jasper? How dare you? Why would you do such a thing? Like, why are you posting things out of context and taking screenshots showing our mistakes? Wow. Now this is for the world to see how horrible we are, and it makes us look bad. Thanks a lot, Jasper, you asshole. Yeah, that's what it seemed like. And it's like, what? He's just posting screenshots and said you made a mistake. The simple answer, Max, is just fix it and move your dumbass on. Stupid jokes. What happened? Why are you so sensitive? It adds to the fact that there is truth to this because he brought it to the forefront with his comments.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. It's funny you say that because I was a bit perplexed when he brought up the conspiracy about pro PlayStation. I said I went back and I read Jasper's tweets and I'm like, wait a second. At no point did he mention anything about PlayStation or a conspiracy theory. He just he pointed out that there were many games in this reel of titles that were announced that they were making announcements for PlayStation, Switch, but no Xbox. But the issue at hand goes, I think, Jasper, just beyond everything that Mav just said. Yeah. And first of all, thank you so much for joining us. I know this is super last moment, of course. Shout out to C Money and Dusty again. Yeah, this is just one of those days that everyone just had something important to do. And, you know, I would have done this for at least an hour by myself, but thank you, gentlemen, for being here. I think really what is at the crux of the conversation, okay, is the fact, Jasper, that this is not the first time a mistake has happened. It consistently happens. And when you have a pattern of consistency doing whatever it is that you're doing, people are going to expect that you're going to do these things. So the fact that they're acting brand new or surprised, oh my God, we made a mistake. Why are you getting on us? Because you consistently. When was the last time, Jasper? Can we go back, rewind time, and say when was the last time they made a mistake for Sony? When was the last time they made a mistake for Nintendo? You know why they wouldn't? Because their bread wouldn't be buttered.
The only mistake for Nintendo that I can think of is when they had their journalist that was stealing YouTube reviews and making it as their own. That's the only.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Oh man, that's a throwback.
Yeah, that is a throwback. A lot of people thought that was me. It's not. It's BoomStick Gaming, not Double Barrel Gaming. BoomStick Gaming is like legit. He's He's a good dude, and yeah, he literally stole his review, which is gross. But that guy got fired, and such is life. But Jasper, now obviously, I don't know you as much as I like to say, for instance, know Mav. I know of you, and we've talked, and you've been on the show a couple of times. But I never got the console war poking and prodding from your tweet. Were you surprised at the way Max attacked you?
Initially, I just didn't think anything of it because I was just giving him the benefit of the doubt that, like, I'm sure that he probably started his day off just seeing like a bunch of crap. Like, it was like, oh, okay, whatever. But like, the more it's set with me, the more I'm like, it's just weird that you would come at me with that like take. Like, I don't know. It just like initially, I was just trying to maintain professionalism, just like keep it all nice and cherry on top or whatever. But like, the more it's kind of set with me, like sleeping on it, it's like, yeah, that was kind of just weird. Like, I don't know. That's kind of where I'm coming from with it, but it's all right. It doesn't matter. Like, it's just Max Scofield. I don't really care.
No. I mean, I hear what you're saying, and obviously, the worth of Max Scofield for you low on the totem pole, and that's perfectly fine. And he may say the same thing about us or you or whoever. I am going to say that one of the now again, it has nothing to do with the conversation per se, but it kind of does. Is what I have learned since doing this, and I'm coming on 6 years now. In November will be 6 full years that I'm actually doing YouTube, is that the podcasting community is a threat for gaming journalism as a whole. Now, obviously, something like IGN they're number one in the world for a reason. They have a lot of people that work for them. They have a lot of offices around the world. They used to be, and I say used to be, my source of information. I really, like them. I liked IGN so much that I used to talk with Ryan McCaffrey. I would DM him. He actually DM'd me back. I used to, keep the lights on, pay you $30 a year to get stupid PC games I never used because I actually care. And then something happened, and there was a change in ideology, which really turned me off. And obviously, now here we are, where now these things are happening. And I'm sorry to say, folks, I hope that you're not bored by this conversation because there's almost 500 people here. But if we don't have this conversation, then they're just allowed to get away with it. And yep. I am not going to stand by and allow that to happen. So Jasper, honestly, what were your dealings with IGN prior to this?
I literally watched one video every 3 weeks, if that. I just watched them for the trailers, and it popped up in my recommend. I was like, yeah, sure. Maybe there's some random game that I don't know about that's coming out. So I watched the video, and I just kept noticing, that's weird. Xbox is not on that. Xbox is not on that. It was that's a Game Pass game. How do you just forget that? So I was I'm just going to make a small tweet. I tweet once every 3 months also, and it blew up.
Well, last time I checked, you had over 1,500 likes because people, and again, I don't think this is one of those situations, C-Money, where drama sells, because Jasper is not a drama kind of a guy. He's on social media. He casually tweets. He casually, talks about gaming, which is perfectly fine. Now, I don't know if you got a chance to see what's going on because you and Dusty are here super at the last minute, and I apologize. Are you aware of what transpired yesterday, C-Money?
So I know of the video and what they did. So I know the whole situation. I don't know if it was let's tweet, but
right. Well, let me break down what was said, just for clarification. And Jasper, who's here, so thank you so much for being here, Jasper. Again, says basically had tweeted at IGN regarding this video that you saw. And he simply said, weird how IGN only missed the Xbox platform on select games in their video about upcoming games. #do better. I usually use the hashtag be better for IGN because they are $1 million company that have proofreaders and plenty of people that work for them that before, you say hit send or you print, or obviously they're not print, but the minute these things are supposed to be checked. Well,
Absolutely.
the two replies from Max Scoville says basically this: much appreciated. Maybe next time there's a mistake, just tweet at us or leave a comment instead of posting out of context screen grabs and framing them like you've uncovered some kind of anti-Xbox conspiracy. Just a thought. And a couple of hours, and then obviously after that, 25 minutes after that, I don't know if he was. I know that he blocked a lot of people. As a matter of fact, he blocked a good friend of ours that happens to be on the Fable team, who's a developer. So yeah, not a really good look, Max. When people challenge you, if they're not cursing, maybe you should stand your ground like a man, and and take the arrows. And then you know what you do. This is what should have been done.
To add that boom real quick.
Yeah, sure.
He blocked 3-bit, right, as you're talking about. And
yes.
All 3-bit did was say, "What a weird response, LOL."
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So they soft, man. It's nonsense, dude.
It is nonsense. But so here, he responds 25 minutes later in the same thread. He says, "This is a snarky defense reply I made after waking up on a Monday morning to a bunch of angry comments making wild accusations against me and my coworkers over a minor mistake that has been since corrected. We took down and re-uploaded the video." And that's all.
Didn't even mention them. Just mention the company.
Right. Simply mention the company. Stupid. No one mentioned PlayStation. No one mentioned console war.
And look how he says minor though. It's a minor mistake because if it's Xbox that's missed, it's minor.
Right.
No
well, that doesn't really count because Xbox is barely a platform, according to IGN.
Who are they?
I will say this, and I want to get C-Money's opinion, how this should have been handled after how Max embarrassed himself, because that's how I believe. When you represent the brand, folks, and I'm going to put on the police hat for a second, so bear with me. When I wore a uniform and I was out at community affairs representing the NYPD, if I did something egregious, not only would I be embarrassing P.O. Ravitch, but I would be embarrassing the NYPD, and I would get in a lot of trouble for that. Like there are ramifications for doing something stupid, saying something stupid, and being in uniform representing a particular brand. My brand happened to be the NYPD for 21 years. Now, Max Scofield represents IGN. He actually wrote the script according to himself. So maybe that's why he was a little bit more pointed with his words. But what should have happened is after all of this transpired, a real man would have went to social media, added Jasper publicly and say, "Listen, dude, I want to apologize for my behavior. It was uncalled for. I appreciate you giving us the heads up. I acted out of sorts. I'm sorry." And called it a day. That's what a real man does, C-Money. But that's not what happened here. And an apology to Jasper still hasn't happened. Let's get your hot take on it.
I would love to say that this is like shocking to me, but it's really not. Like, this is just IGN's MO. Yes, Matt Scoville. Like, I met the dude in 2017 at E3. He was a cool dude, back then. But I mean, it's become so blatant. And honestly, it's really since like this new breed. Like, I don't know if you noticed, like there was a point in time where IGN was fine, right? And then there's like this new breed of people who came up, and then all of a sudden it's like I just feel like they're all Sony heads. So like that's the way we've seen it play out. Like something like this, for him to say something minor, right? Now, mind you, this is like Xbox is a business, right? Many people go to IGN for their gaming news. And for them to tell their millions of followers, right? Many more millions than Xbox have, right? There are many more millions of followers that these key big games are coming only to PlayStation and PC, and excluding the Xbox, especially on a game that is coming into Game Pass day one, right? Like, that blows my mind, right? So all that leads me to believe is like, obviously, just like you said, Boom, these are not small people, they're big, and they have editors and people who are going to fact check, and people are going to do all these things before these videos go live, right? So somebody sat there, looked at it, and either which is highly unlikely in my mind, either didn't know any better and assumed that it was just on PlayStation and PC, or they
They didn't care.
blatantly,
That's
they
what it
just
is.
blatantly looked at it and said, doesn't matter. I'd rather let this go out this way. And it's just asinine, dude. And the fact that their response is, instead of taking the L and say, guys, I'm sorry, Xbox, our bad. It got missed in the editing or in the fact checking, right? Sorry for the mistake, right? That's, I mean, forget to us people, right? Because they look at us, we're nothing, right? We're just people who just bring the money through the ads that they collect from, right? But um to their partners, right? Like Xbox is a partner, right?
Indeed.
And to just blatantly leave them out of games that they are getting. And honestly, the damage has been done, right? People are not going to go to Twitter and follow up on it. People are not going to watch the video again. The majority of those views already took place. It's done now. You know what I'm saying? Like, it already had an impact, and there's going to be people now who feel this way. And it's silly as the whole idea is. Like, I mean, who cares, right? They'll eventually hear about it, I guess, in some form or fashion. It's the fact that as a business partner, right, IGN to just blatantly say it was minor, no biggie, as opposed to, bending the knee, taking L, and say, man, we apologize for our mess up, because we know that us being out here in the media, we set the tone for what the majority of these people are going to think and expect, right? So when we're out here messing up and not giving the exact correct information, it's a problem. Not to mention that these mess ups only happen on Xbox. I didn't see
Yeah.
any game that was missing PlayStation that was coming out on PlayStation, right? Every game that was coming on a PlayStation had the PlayStation PS thing there. But Xbox, it gets missed, and it's supposed to be no biggie. It's supposed to be whatever. I don't subscribe to that. I think that's some bullshit, to be honest with
Yeah,
you.
no, I agree. I think it is BS for 100%. I really feel that if this is a rinky dink mom and pop organization where you have 3 people doing a website, a podcast, you have multiple podcasts, and a mistake is missed, then you give them the nod because it's a small site. But I'll tell you this. Anytime I've made a mistake, anyone that's been following me, and I have over 12,000 followers on Twitter, knows I go right to Twitter and I will do it live on the air. Hey, listen, guys, I got it wrong. People have corrected me in the chat. I give you a shout out. Hey, such and such. Thank you for that. I did not know that. Shout out to you. That's the information. That's
Yep.
what a real
like
man does.
like a real man. And again, taking away like the entity. You know what I'm saying? It didn't have to be Max Scoville. Like, Max didn't even have to get involved with this. It could have been through IGN's Twitter, just coming out and apologizing for the mistake, and just clarifying. And then that would have been it. Then it would have been, okay, that's a mistake because they went out there and they showed it. But what they didn't want to do is they didn't want to actually go out there and call it a mistake, because internally they know it wasn't a mistake. They just put it out there and they didn't care. And the fact that everybody started dogpiling on it now, because even though Jasper did it, like, I knew that this happened because it was blowing up. It was, people were pointing it out everywhere, quote tweeting everywhere, that look, they left out Xbox, and showing the clip of the video. So it's like, everybody was doing this. Everybody saw that this was a problem, and for them to just be so, chill about it, so laid back about it, and not only that, but defensive about it.
Yes. Yeah.
Defensive. Like, what defensive position do you have to take? There is no defense for you, bro. Like, it's clear as day. It's right there. You left it out, and you're not apologizing for it. Right? So it's clear that your intentions were shit. And even if they weren't, the fact that you refuse to apologize, that's what it is. If somebody does wrong to you, right? And then they come over to you and they're like, hey, it is what it is, man. Like that's not gonna. I'm not gonna look at them and be like, oh yeah, we cool now. You know what I'm saying?
Right. No, 100%.
Problem solved because it is what it is.
Yeah.
Right? It was minor. Nah, no, that's not how it works. You
You know what's
apologize for what
funny?
you did wrong.
You know what's interesting? They call it minor, right?
Yep.
And I want to bring Dusty into the conversation. They say the word minor. They've used it multiple times. Minor suggests that this F up cost Microsoft millions of dollars of people interested in a particular game that they think now is only on PlayStation or on Switch, right? Minor is we put the video out and we catch it immediately and make it private, fix it, put it up and reload it. That's minor. You don't keep a video out for 3 days. And then when someone finally catches it, it's like, hey, wait a second. Because Jasper basically set off a revolution to those tweets that you saw, C-Money. People were like, wait a second. This dude is right. They're talking about PlayStation and Switch as if the Xbox doesn't exist. Well, that's right. They're in third place. They don't matter. They haven't mattered on IGN for I would even say years at this point. They're an afterthought. And let's call a spade here, folks. The people or the corporation that butters the bread of IGN is PlayStation, is Sony Interactive Entertainment. Let's not make a mistake. They have the biggest stake in the company. That's why they represent them the way that they do. Now, I know that they're partnered with Microsoft for some things, but I kind of wish Xbox would say something. As a matter of fact, someone from Xbox did say something. I have to find it. I have to give it the correct information, but I want to get Dusty's take on this. Dusty, okay, maybe you're not aware of everything that happened. I hope that we were able to explain, and thanks so much for jumping into the last minute. But what are your opinions of IGN? Have they earned this smoke with the way that they have behaved in the past? Oh, you're muted, brother. Mute, oh, there you go. Oh, not that was Mav.
That was me. Okay. So sorry about that. But I don't know if you saw my tweet. I think C Money saw it right away. But I pretty much said F IGN as soon as I saw everything. Because for me, it's just another thing on the list of things that they've done in the past. And yes, at one point, there was a time where IGN, you could say, was a credible company, a credible news source for gaming. But that died a long time ago. And we can always say that at all of these companies and corporations and whatnot, that there are great people inside that work there. You know what I mean? But it is fair. That is so hard to support the company itself when it's constantly being led by, for lack of a better word, dipshits. And, you know, when I saw the evidence, if you will, and later on in the day, Dreadpool had actually tweeted to me, shout out to Dreadpool, and he said, oh, they fixed it. No disrespect against Dreadpool. I don't care if they fixed it.
Right.
It's the fact that they did it in the first place and they knew what they were doing. I mean, if you have somebody hired at your company that should know better, that should know the gaming industry, the gaming content, what is coming out, what is going to be released, what platform it's going to be on, how gamers and consumers can access said game. You need to know all of these things. And yes, people can make mistakes all of the time, right? And if you make a mistake, take accountability, own up to it, and just say, look, my bad. But that did not happen. Instead, he gave some half-assed apology, and it's half-assed because you spent the first half of it, you know, pretty much stating like, I don't understand why people are feeling like this. But look, if you guys took it wrong, well, okay, I guess I'm sorry, I guess. But we didn't see it as such a bad mistake. No, it was a horrible mistake. You should know better that the entire community knows you are in PlayStation's pocket. We all know it. So why would you give any room to anyone, to any of us, to constantly think the same thing even more, that you guys are POSs? You know what I mean? Like if you have 5 good people that work at your company, I feel bad for them because nobody knows who they are. Nobody gets to hear them. Nobody gets to see them. Because if they are on a show, if they're hosting with other people, they're being drowned out by the other people's stupidity. It's absolutely wild and ridiculous to me, and it doesn't make sense. And the fact that they could not take, or Max or whatever his name is, could not take full accountability for this, couldn't just say, look, we are sorry. Okay. We understand how this looks. We understand this was wrong. We understand that this was unprofessional of us. Dude, I would have taken 2 seconds and looked at IGN and been like, okay, maybe we're getting somewhere. Okay, maybe we're finally getting somewhere. You're starting to own up to this. You're starting to realize we all see through your BS. We read between the lines when it comes to IGN. We're not stupid. And IGN likes to act like we're stupid. And I really hate it. I no longer go ahead. Go ahead.
Please, please continue. Dusty, you're on a roll. Take it away.
After yesterday, I watch IGN for the trailers for when they do Summer of Gaming or whatever, and they host the award shows and blah, 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 and all of that. I have no reason to want to connect with their platform at all anymore. I don't care what trailer they're showing, what gameplay they're showing, what award show they're streaming. I don't care. You know what I mean? I'll go to Xbox directly for their streams. I'll go to Bethesda directly for their streams. You know what I mean? I'll go to PlayStation when they decide to put on a show. Okay? Yeah, I said it. So
no, it's true.
You know what I'm saying? Like that last show was not a show. So
well, there's also options. You know what I'm saying? Like as big as they are, there's other places you can go. Like you're not held down by IGN. You go GameStop. Like there's different places. It's not they're not the only show in town. So I feel you.
And it's just like we're so programmed to think we need to go to IGN for everything. And
I keep hearing somebody's phones in the background. If you could just lower the please, if you wouldn't.
Somebody's getting mad text messages, but I pretty much what I'm trying to say is there's no reason whatsoever for me to engage with anything that they do anymore. And if there's great people at IGN, I completely apologize to you because I will now not know who you are. And if you are a great gaming journalist, or if you're a great just all around gamer and you're just great at what you do when it comes to wanting to be in this type of medium, maybe you should leave IGN, grow a pair, leave IGN, and realize you can either build your own brand or go join another brand that is 10 times much more credible than they are. Like right now, IGN to me looks like Super Kotaku. I don't trust either platform.
I mean they're walking a razor's edge. Well, you know what? Like I said, someone from Xbox noticed this. As a matter of fact, he is on social media on a regular basis because it's his job. Talking about Stein. I follow him. He has nearly 50,000 followers for good reason. A, he got one of the best beards in the business, and B, he's out there rubbing elbows with the peoples, which is what he's supposed to do. He is a community affairs manager because he happens to be senior social media manager for Xbox. Well, folks, now he didn't actually point out Max Scofield because he has professionalism. He basically quote tweets IGN's article where it says from Starfield to Spider-Man 2, here are the 44 biggest games set to arrive in 2023, which of course is the video in question. And he simply says this, and he didn't post once, folks. He posted twice. The first post says, looking forward to Lies of P, Mortal Kombat 1, and Alan Wake 2 on Xbox Series X and S, which of course are some of the games that were missed in the original video. He goes on to say in his second tweet, and Texas Chainsaw, Armored Core, Starfield, Payday 3, Assassin's Creed Mirage, Forza Motorsport, Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 1, and more. And that's where he ends. So obviously, if you think that this didn't sting for Xbox, you are wrong, except they did it in the most professional manner. So again, I would have not handled it the way that Max Scofield handled it. I have to say that whoever was the PR team that made that comment on YouTube was the way Max should have done it. Unfortunately, he didn't. Here we are. We are now 48 minutes into the show, and all we've talked about is IGN. So it's very unfortunate because I don't like negativity. Anyone that is subscribed to this channel knows that's not my business. My business is here. Let's have fun. Let's hang out. Let's talk about gaming, and let's show why we love games.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
The last thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry.
Get Dustin.
The last thing I want to say is that, you know, it's really not that difficult to take accountability, and it's really not that hard. It's not that hard to say, I'm sorry, my bad. But people grow up thinking that that's the most difficult thing ever in the world. And to be honest with you, for everyone listening, I promise you, it really would make your life a whole lot easier if you just owned up to your crap. Just say sorry. Just say my bad. It doesn't make you any less of a person. If anything, it makes you 10 times greater, but you just will never know that unless you try it. So please take accountability, please.
Yes, accountability is tremendous, and it does prove your manship, if you will, and it proves that, you know, listen, mistakes hurt, and a mistake this big, and this is a pretty big one, could very well have cost Microsoft sales, which is why Stein said what he said in the most polite manner. Now, I've been a gentleman about it, and I will continue to do so. But I will say that there are people in the chat saying that you can't spell ignorant without IGN. They're correct in saying so. Now, that's not my words. I'm repeating, but makes you wonder. And so let me get, before we get to the next topic, gentlemen.
Well, yeah, I got something else to.
Matt, I'm sorry, brother.
I want to
please, by all means, go ham on this. Yes.
So, the main thing to take away here, and why I think this resonated so much with people, was because of the response. Right? It is simple enough to go and make a mistake and say you're going to change it, and then change it, move on, apology, whatever. But the fact that they constantly have this attitude towards the Xbox community is a disrespect to the Xbox community. That is why maybe they don't get as much traction from Xbox on their website, which actually has more users than PlayStation. Console sales be damned, there's more users on Xbox ecosystem than there is PlayStation. Yet PlayStation butters their bread, right?
Yep.
There's a reason why the Xbox community has abandoned your website. There's a reason why the sentiment continues on and on and on every time you make a mistake on social media. Maybe instead of pointing at the people that point out your mistake and attacking them, you just look at it and say, why do people feel this way? Maybe we should make a change. Because obviously, this is a sentiment that's out there within the gaming community, especially Xbox community, that IGN actually doesn't care whatsoever about Xbox. They disrespect actual community members who show no disrespect towards them the way they talked to Jasper yesterday. And it just adds on and it adds on and it adds on. And this has been going on for years. It's not just one incident. And even if it was, you go out there and if you act sensitive and defensive and you attack the people that are highlighting your mistake when you're the biggest games media outlet in existence, which is what you consistently market yourself as, you have a responsibility, not only one, to get the information correct, but you also have a responsibility to have a neutral playing field and have an unbiased journalism. Hire people that like Xbox at IGN.
Whoa,
they
that's
exist.
A great point.
They exist. You do not have to have this fanboy parade of PlayStation people who constantly snark and make remarks about Xbox and about the community working there that permeate this through social media anytime something comes up and is pointed out about how you screwed up and disrespected Xbox and the community again. And not only that, but when you go out there and you act sensitive and defensive and you attack the person who is simply highlighting your mistake, you expand upon the issue and make it worse than actually the issue ever existed in the first place. So just do better. IGN is for me irrelevant anymore. They're crap. They're the worst media outlet as far as resources to what they produce is just like,
Yeah.
wow. If you had
Yeah.
if we had that much resources, boom, there'd be like a media empire that would be the grandest thing of all
Well,
time. And
you
we'd
almost
be
have
able
to thank them though. Like you almost have to thank IGN for being the way they are. Because
True.
in all honesty, like what they lost is their sense of community, right? Like
Yes.
they had like when they had what's his face from Kind of Funny.
Greg Miller.
Greg Miller, when he was over there, right? Like he fostered like a PlayStation community, right? And they
He used
grew
to do
there,
the
and
meet
there
and
was this,
greets. I love
yeah,
Greg
there was a
Miller.
sense
I
of being
love
part of
Greg
it. Like
Miller.
Greg is awesome.
Yes. Yeah.
And
He's a good
the
dude.
sad part is like Ryan is not like a Greg Miller, right? Like Ryan is our Greg Miller, supposed to be, right? He's the Xbox side of it, Ryan McCaffrey. But he's not like a rah Xbox guy, right? He's more of like, he likes it, he prefers it, but he's more of just the facts guy, right? But they
Right.
kind of moved away from community, right? And that is the actual main reason why so many of us now can do this, right? The reason that people come to you, Boom, and the other guys who have channels is because they seek that sense of community that the mainstream is not offering to Xbox fans, right? The Xbox fans don't have a mainstream community outside of just Xbox themselves, right? Aside from that, they don't have that. So yeah, we get to kind of engulf ourselves with these community members who are out here take it upon themselves to make these channels where you can go and feel like you're a part of something special and not just a product on a shelf, that you
Yep.
purchase. So as much as IGN, being the way they are sucks. If they spent their money and resources into creating communities where they were fostering this, then I think it'll be a little harder for the little guy because they would suck up so much of the air. But because they don't, it allows the Booms of the world to really have a good
You know
place.
what it is also. I mean, you're definitely you definitely put the thumb on it, and fantastic points of view. I listen. I don't thank IGN for anything at this point because they're consistent, mistakes that are minor when it's Xbox focused. All it does ultimately is make someone go to a different website. Now, the one that I continue to
Mhm.
go to, that I find to be fantastic. There've been some missteps, but we all have them. Is VGC? That's run by Andy Robinson. If you don't know who he is, he was a game developer. Now he owns this website. And I love VGC. I'm actually hoping that at some point VGC becomes the next IGN. And like I said, Andy doesn't know who I am. I don't think anyone from that site knows who I am, but I do use their work, and when I do give the credit where credit is due. That's one of my sources. Obviously we have Hazard or Gaming. We have Idle Sloth. We have so many other people that are in our circles that
Yeah,
are
the community is
regular
great,
community
man.
members that are constantly putting out good information. Obviously that's where I get a lot of my stuff because I'm talking to these guys in DMs and things. But look, at the end of the day, this is another unfortunate situation that happened very publicly for IGN. It is more poop smear on the IGN name. I'm sorry, that's the best way to do it. And it saddens me because you would imagine that a conglomerate of their size, would learn from the mistakes that they continue to make. And like I said, we can only go. You can call it pointed. You can use it for console war rhetoric, whatever you want to use it for. But I'm more of a pattern kind of a guy. At least that's how I used to try to solve crimes as a police officer. Patterns of things, right? When certain things keep happening in certain locations, maybe we need to put someone over there so it doesn't happen. Well, their pattern of minor mistakes is consistently Xbox involved. To me, it's suspicious at the least. right? So if you keep making these same
Yeah.
mistakes, how could you be like, well, you know, you shouldn't make a big deal over it? But I'm an Xbox dude, and when I
Yeah.
go to your website, I know that I'm going to have PlayStation stuff shoved in my face and Nintendo. You don't need to do that. I'm here for Xbox. Oh, that's right. Xbox is third place, and you make them look like the redheaded stepchild. No offense to anyone who's redheaded and a stepchild. All right, so I'm just saying. But this is ultimately what happens, and it's very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. This behavior it just continues to happen.
For me,
It's
like wrapping it up, like I don't need an apology from Max or whatever. It's like it's fine, whatever. My apology is knowing that he had to have a Monday morning meeting and go through all this and then redo the video. So I made IGN work for me for like a day. That's my apology.
That's fair. I mean, listen. It's you know, obviously you're being the bigger man here, which I certainly appreciate and applaud there, Jasper. And listen, at the end of the day, it's more evidence that IGN as a platform thinks very less of its fans, more importantly, less of Xbox. Take away from this 1 hour conversation what you will. I can't tell you to stay away from IGN, nor would I do that, because, like, for instance, a particular IGN staffer, senior staffer at this point, has become a very prominent YouTuber in Dustin Legary. I dig Dustin's stuff a lot. As a matter of fact, I used his IGN video, which I thought was his video, on Friday's Breakfast with Boom. I literally thought it was his, because he has a very unique setup. You're watching Destin by his backgrounds. What I didn't notice until the second time I watched the video is that he has like a little IGN thing behind his right shoulder. I was like, oh crap, this is an IGN video, which is fine. And by the way, that video that he did for IGN has over 1.2 million views. Holy shit. And you know what? Good for Dustin, because what he said on that video was nothing short of brilliant. There are so many great people that work at IGN that unfortunately are overshadowed by the bias that is very blatant. Nobody wants to use the B word. Oh, it's no bias. It is. Yes, it is. These mistakes cannot continue to happen if you don't have putting the guy in green on your back foot. I'm just saying. But listen, I wanna move on to this Call of Duty thing, because we have stuff breaking like literally right now, and it's very interesting. Now, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 is coming out on November 10th. PlayStation apparently is going to have the beta first, which suggests to me that they still have the marketing. If they still have the marketing, then of course I have to take the knee here and tip the cap that I was wrong. Here we go, folks.
We don't know that. We don't know that yet. So don't button quite yet, because nothing's going to change until Xbox actually owns them. Remember, they don't own them yet, so nothing's going to change until that moment.
Have a report back in like May where he released the dates of Call of Duty, and they all line up so far. So it's seeming to be true.
But that was before the purchase, right? So they obviously, all those plans were in line, because if Xbox didn't purchase, this all had to get set up. I saw everybody went crazy over the fact that this thing slipped. Listen, Xbox doesn't own them yet. The moment they own them is the only moment then Jim Ryan would ever have that thought of, should I back out of this deal? Until that moment happens, there's no guarantee that this deal is going through. Even though we all believe it to be, they still can't function that way. So nothing has changed. So all those leaks, oh my God, they still kept it. No, they didn't keep anything yet, because nothing is there to be kept, because the company has not changed hands yet. Right. So once then we can talk about it.
That's a fantastic point. Look, I'll put it this way. I would love Call of Duty to go into Game Pass for a whole multitude of reasons, because it's $70.
It is, man.
That and you might be right. It still might be. They might have the beta thing going as they do, and it still could go into Xbox Game Pass as per the new 10-year deal that Jim Ryan and SIE signed. We don't know, but like I said, I have zero problem admitting that I was incorrect in my theory. Maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't. And again, if it doesn't happen, I'll come back on here and say as such, because it's fine.
Save your knees.
You
for
can
next
be
time.
wrong. You just have to.
Your knees are still safe. Boom.
Yeah, it's fine. Listen, they're old man knees anyway, so it's perfectly fine.
Yeah, I don't want you
Nobody
doing
really
it twice. You know what I'm saying? I will just do it one time later.
You only got one pair of knees, Boom. Only one
That is
pair.
it.
Right?
Yes, and they're still working at 52, so that's good. But listen, before we get into the Call of Duty thing, there's been a ton of super chats. I really want to get to them, and then we're going to break down what we know about Modern Warfare 3 essentially being DLC, which is a bit disappointing. And that has been confirmed by numerous places that basically based on the code, it's really just Modern Warfare 2 DLC. And we had heard that it was just going to be DLC. And what they did is kind of stretch it out a bit to make it into a full release. Is it going to be worth $76.43 here in New Rochelle, New York? I don't know. But we'll get to that in a second. And then, of course, there is a breaking story. And I will read that very quickly. Where is it? Let's see. Hazardor Gaming had tweeted this last night, and he basically said Call of Duty may be transitioning itself to a gas game for hashtag Activision. And he said, I think they mean free-to-play gas. Keep updating the game rather than yearly releases. And there's now he's quote tweeted someone here. I've never heard of them, folks. So if you've heard of them, maybe you know whether or not they could be trusted or they're legit. His name it goes by the Pro Reborn on Twitter. Apparently, it's at Pro Reborn YT. Says, I just heard something down the grapevine about something that is happening in Call of Duty. That the internet will be in shambles when it surfaces. That is all I will say with the heartbreak emoji. What does that mean? I have no idea. But let me catch up on the super chats, and then we'll break both of these things down. And of course, the Final Fantasy stuff. I understand that it was that has been deemed a mistake. I don't know so much about that, so I'm going to change the title to the IGN thing. So when this gets uploaded after we're done, you'll see it with a different title. Again, I make these shows a day in advance. Sometimes I don't get to them quick enough to change the title, but we will. I'll see if we can get any more information from some of my sources, and we'll talk about it on Friday. But we have Wolverine XX drops a very generous $2 super chat and simply says, you can't deny patterns. You see, folks, that's what I'm talking about. Decado drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, there is no difference in gaming journalism and news journalism. It's all rear end is what he's basically saying. And you know what? I mean, to some extent, yes, I just wish people would take more responsibility for the craft. Like, you know, like I put my best foot forward. When I don't, I beat myself up over it. Like I don't like putting out half-cocked content because it bothers me, because that's not what you guys and gals deserve. You're here every day. The least I can do is put my best foot forward. So it annoys me when gaming media doesn't. And I understand it's a business. I'm not a boob, folks. Like, I get it, but they need to be more responsible, and we need to hold them accountable for the kind of stuff that went on yesterday with Max Scofield and IGN. We got to let them know that it bothers us and that it's uncalled for. We have Sith Lord drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, you can't spell IGN without PlayStation. IGN makes me sick. Somewhere IGN snuck in there. Chris713, basically, who's been a channel member for 5 months, says IGN equals ignorant gaming news. Indeed, unfortunately. Jimbo Jangles drops not one but two very generous super chats. The first one of $20. It says, part one, man, it's a bummer about how IGN has changed. I was glued to Daily Fix every day the minute it came out, with Jessica Chobot and Naomi Kyle. Oh my God, Naomi Kyle, that's the name I haven't heard in like forever. Wow, dude, that's a real callback. Now I get my daily news from Jay Wood 2010 on YouTube, who does just an amazing job. Yeah, Jay Wood is legit, like absolutely legit. Part two, and he drops a very generous $10 super chat. He says, I also subscribe to Keep on the Lights. Oh, I know. I also subscribe to Keep the Lights On. I even made some controllers for some of the crew on podcasts unlocked that were opened
Nice.
on the show. It's just an all around bummer. Wow, bro! I didn't know that was some of your work because I used to
That's
really
dope.
enjoy. And yeah, he made a GI Joe controller for me. If I don't know if you guys have seen it. You know what? Hold on, just 1 second.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Man, I love GI Joe. God.
G.I. Joe.
Jimbo Jangles is legit. Take a look at
Oh,
that.
that's sick.
Oh, damn.
That is.
But you know what?
sick.
As great as
That's
that
pretty damn.
is,
That's cool.
it's what, and I'm not even gonna lie. I broke down crying. He put
Hmm.
what my father taught us: treat others how you want to be treated on the back.
Oh my god.
That's cool.
That
God,
is,
I would have started crying too. Oh
I
my
dude,
gosh.
my wife and her sister were here. I was born like a baby because that means something.
That's
to
a
me,
real
you know?
gift.
Yeah.
That's a
Oh,
real
dude,
gift.
it's the generosity, Jimbo. I cannot thank you enough, brother, and thank you for being here. And of course, the generous controller, which it's been turned on just to make sure it works. But I'm never using this thing. Are you kidding me? I'm going to get a glass case for that.
Nice.
Jay Rambert drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, if you'll know who Stein is, he runs the Xbox account on Twitter. He has had run-ins with IGN as well. I fully believe Microsoft is aware of IGN's antics. Yeah, you know what it is, and you are correct, because Stein has politically correctly gone after IGN with certain things. You know, he just like the tweet he did. He's giving the poke. You know what I'm saying? Like, guys, what are you doing here? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're killing us. So yeah, you're absolutely right. He has had I wouldn't be toe to toe things with them because he's senior, manager for Xbox public relations on social media. So obviously he has a big job and he has to be politically correct. Zetro drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, I think throwing shade at all of IGN isn't fair either. Destin is a shining example of good journalism there. Zetro, you are 1,000% right. I don't know if you heard what I said. We cannot put everyone at IGN under an umbrella and say they're all bad. No one here would suggest that at all. There are a lot of freaking-tastic journalists at IGN. Unfortunately, and I think it was C Money that said this, they get overshadowed by the shenanigans. That is unfortunate for the good people that are at IGN, because there's plenty of them. And Destin Legary is, in fact, one of the shining examples, because I dig Destin a lot.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah, absolutely, Dusty.
I know we're doing super chats, so I don't want to take too long. All I want to say is the other day I put out a tweet after watching Destin's video, and I said Destin is greater than IGN, because right now Destin is probably the best thing that IGN has, and that's all I want to say.
It's a fact, and I'm kind of wondering at what point does he go out on his own, because I think he could make a lot of money.
He did. His channel.
Yeah,
huge.
well, he
no, completely on his own. Like,
no, I'm talking about like leaving IGN. You know,
well, he just had a kid. I think he just had another one.
Yeah,
that is true.
Leave a steady paycheck, but
that is true.
Well, he has two kids now. Yeah, so
I think he just had another one. So
yeah, so no, I mean, listen, I'm happy for his success. He's killing it on YouTube. Over 100,000 subscribers. He's fantastic. So he's again a shining example of what we like about IGN. And unfortunately, they get overshadowed. The good people get overshadowed. And it's just like law enforcement, folks. Like, my wife and I used to adopt a class every year. And during the holidays, because I was in community affairs, we'd go to that class. We'd hand out gifts. I dressed up as McGruff. You don't hear about stuff like that because that's positive news. What you do hear about,
sexy news.
Well, what you do hear about is cops abusing somebody, or stealing, or doing something heinous. Because, if it bleeds, it sells. That's just the reality. So you would never know that. As a matter of fact, they wanted to do something in the Daily News with me, my wife, about this, and I said absolutely not. That's not why we're doing it. I don't want. And we spent our own money. We didn't get our department to give me anything for that. That was me, because I actually gave a shit. But that's, unfortunately, the good people get overlooked. That's just the way it works. NC Ghost of Low Road drops a very generous $5 super chat Just IGN has been just like Kotaku in my eyes for years, and all of you are speaking truth. Blessings all around. Have a good show. Well, NC Ghost, thank you so much for the very kind words and of course the generosity. And yes, they are very Kotaku-esque, and Kotaku is probably like, I like the IGN isn't there yet, but Kotaku is kind of like when you are waiting online at Stop and Shop or your grocery store, and you look over and it says Elvis bangs alien on the Inquirer. That is what Kotaku is. IGN is not there yet. They're kind of like a little bit of they're more classy tabloid, but maybe if they continue down this path, maybe they will be like the Inquirer for video games. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Drawn TJ dropped a very generous $5 super chat and says, "I'm going to be on Mike Mullis's podcast tonight, and I'll be on Primetime Gaming tomorrow." Indeed, you will there, Drawn TJ. And Mike is a really, really good dude. So enjoy yourself. Guys, let's talk about Call of Duty.
For sure.
So we got the rumor that they may change it to gas, right? Which, like, who in the chat plays Call of Duty online? Because I don't. I play for the single player. I will be very disappointed that if Call of Duty becomes first party, we don't get single player campaigns. That's going to really stink. Even if it's Game Pass, I'll never play it. I'll tell you that right now. I will never play it because I don't play Call of Duty. First of all, the lobbies are gross. They're toxic AF, and I that's why I don't speak to anybody. And B, it's that's not the online. I'm a Halo dude. Like, I got 13 or 14 days in Halo Infinite, and I'm probably going to have more because I'm going to start playing again. That's my bag.
Did you do the new event?
I did not, dude.
It ends in like 6 days, bro. You gotta.
Yeah, I gotta jump on
I
that
really
too.
gotta get going. I gotta
gotta
going
jump
because
on that too,
I've been playing. As you can see by Dead Island, I just rolled credits. One of my favorite games of the year. Such a great game. So I'll go to Mav on this. Mav, I know that you and the guys, play multiplayer stuff. I don't know how entrenched you are with Call of Duty, but there's this rumor that they might be moving it to instead of a yearly release, a gas game kind of, hey, we're going to update every year or every 6 months or every 3 months, however they're going to do it. And really what I want to talk about is Modern Warfare 3. Like, a lot of people thought that this was going to be a remake of the original. Turns out that all the reports earlier last year about this not Call of Duty not getting an official full release in 2023, that it was just going to be DLC. Turns out it's actually true, because the code that people have uncovered on all of the social platforms suggests that this is literally DLC. So if it's just DLC, is it worth $76.43? I don't know, man. What are your thoughts? Because if it's not in Game Pass, I think I hold off on this one.
Yeah, so on paper, part of it looks good because you get to keep all your stuff and all that thing, everything from Modern Warfare 2. However, I kind of raised concerns about this when this news started breaking about it being kind of an update, and it's like, it's because it was originally just an expansion, right? Which fell into the original rumors, because the original rumors that came out about this game when those old dates were originally revealed and then talked about, I think Jason Schreier even had doubled down on those leaks originally about the release schedule. But there was originally supposed to be like an expansion like this year.
That's what was reported originally.
And I think
correct.
Tom Henderson had said that. So now they're calling it Modern Warfare 3. My biggest thing, if I'm to be upset about anything, is like, for me, if you're doing this to Modern Warfare 3, it's kind of a slight on that game, because I would want a full-blown remake like they did with Modern Warfare 1 and 2. But I have still to see what they're doing, because for me, it all depends on the campaign, right?
Yes.
How big is the story? How good is the story? The multiplayer is going to feel like Call of Duty multiplayer anyway. And I know some of the Call of Duty community doesn't like Modern Warfare 2 because they like more the fast-paced Treyarch style games and stuff like that.
Yes.
But for me, I do prefer the Infinity Ward style, so I'm hoping Sledgehammer doesn't change that too much. But also, part of the rumors were they were changing it, right? So that to make it more fast paced and stuff. So for me, that's also the thing I kind of don't like. So then I look at, okay, so now there's a games of service rumor about this. To me, right now, Call of Duty is already a games of service. It just make you pay $70 for it because they do the battle passes and all this kind of stuff anyway. And then they have the free to play game also with Warzone. So I don't know why they necessarily would need to change the main Call of Duty to be the same thing like Warzone is when they already have that Warzone community. So that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So I'm not 100% sure on that rumor. But if they do that, maybe it's only related to this game because Modern Warfare 3 is just that big update expansion to Modern Warfare 2. Or maybe they don't charge full price for it. Maybe they charge like a premium battle pass type price or whatever, premium content update. Who knows exactly? But what I do think is they wanted to phrase this as a new game, Modern Warfare 3. And then we have to look at the reasons why, right? Well, if their contract was originally for a certain amount of games, if you had changed the expansion to a full release, then by that time you may be free next year after the acquisition to then be done with the Call of Duty
theory,
deal,
dude.
right?
Very interesting.
Done with the Call of Duty marketing deal that PlayStation held, because that was the original reports from Schreier back in the day is about it. They have the marketing for this many more games, right? Expansion may not count as a full game, but if you change it to Modern Warfare 3, all of a sudden now you can be encompassing that as a full release, regardless of the monetization model you create for it. So the fact that this come out recently that PlayStation also has the beta first for this leads to the whole marketing deal as for a full release, because that's what they do for the full releases as well. So this would check that box, and after this game, they'd be done. Wipe their hands. Activision Blizzard, no more PlayStation deal with marketing rights. ABK closes. Microsoft clean slate. Put all the games in Game Pass. Do whatever the heck they want to. Right. So this could be just a part of that, and internally, Activision Blizzard trying to close this chapter.
You know what's funny? That's first of all, brilliance. Absolute brilliance live on the air. I didn't even think of that scenario. That is fan-freaking-tastic, and it makes a whole lot of sense as to why, because if it was one game left in for them to do, and they do get that game done this year, then next year, maybe the Call of Duty drops into Xbox Game Pass. And again, it still might this year. We don't know for sure, because we don't know what the specifics on that actual Call of Duty deal is. Michelle A in the chat, who's always here, says that we don't rush to judgment until the reveal is next week, and she's 100% right in saying so. So we don't know, but again, we don't know if PlayStation has the marketing, because it hasn't been marketed. Normally, they're the first one out there, play first on PlayStation, and we haven't seen that. So again, we don't know if the 10-year contract that they signed negates the other the original contract, or what the 10-year actual contract consists of.
So last year also, Boom, with Modern Warfare 2, PlayStation's logos and PlayStation's presence was weirdly missing from a lot of the marketing where it had been in the past. So that was me seeing
they
that
still had the
they're
exclusive skin though.
They still had the content. They still had the content, but they weren't as forward facing as they had been in the past. So for me, last year was them starting to distance themselves a little bit from it, but they still kept the things that mattered the most, like the beta early and all that kind of stuff. And I think that's what's going to happen this year too.
You're on something.
There is a few things that we do know about the new Call of Duty, like first addressing the games as a service thing. If you look at Call of Duty on Steam or Battle.net right now, they've changed the way Call of Duty is labeled. It's just called Call of Duty. And when you download it, you pick what you want to download, so you can download the campaign, the multiplayer, and stuff like that. And it's just a launcher for all the Call of Duty.
It's like a launcher. Yep.
Oh.
Yeah.
Which is smart.
So maybe that's where the games as a service things come in, where you can pick whatever Call of Duty you want to play. And
I thought it was the skins. I thought it was the skins that because I think before, like every game that you bought skins for, it was just for that game. No,
Yeah.
well,
Everything
yes,
carries
then-
over.
yes,
Everything
and
now
carries over.
everything's carrying over, right?
Yes
So I thought
and
that's
no,
what they were
like-
talking about.
because Cold War and Vanguard stuff all carried over to Warzone before, like MW2 2019, Cold War, and Vanguard. All your skins would carry over into Warzone 1. So
well, yeah, because
they've done it
Warzone's an
before.
extension of COD.
Yeah.
It's the same
Yeah.
game. That's why you have
Yeah.
Warzone 2 now with Modern Warfare 2. But I know
So
what you're saying.
they're probably doing the same thing with this, where just like Modern Warfare 3 content will be like that too. But
Well, actually, what's happening is everything you have in Modern Warfare 2 is
yeah,
carrying
because
over to Modern
your
Warfare
characters
3.
are. But
Your
Yeah,
characters
everything.
and your weapons and your
Yeah.
Your
skins
weapon, all
and
your everything, even your
attachments,
Yeah.
ranking on the weapons,
all
and
of it.
shit.
yes, but
All
you
of it.
can't put your camos on the new stuff. So
Did they say that?
yeah, you cannot put Modern Warfare 2
Okay.
camos on new guns.
Man.
What do you mean, new guns that they are creating just for Modern
yeah.
Warfare 3?
If you got like the gold camo for a Modern Warfare 2 weapon or the master camo for it, you cannot put that on a Modern Warfare 3 weapon.
Wait, but what if you mastered the Modern Warfare 3 weapon? Just like you did
it's
in
a
Modern
different
Warfare
master
2.
skin.
Oh my god.
But if you've
okay.
got a paid skin that's a
Good
universal
grief.
skin, it will transfer over.
Good
Okay, then
grief.
that's cool.
Okay, well, the paid one is the one that matters,
Yeah.
right? Because that's what I spent money on. So
yeah,
at the
yeah,
end
that
of
is
the day-
true. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
for DLC, like regarding this game as DLC, like I think the multiplayer is the DLC part because they've made a whole new campaign for this game, and we know that Treyarch's back and they're making a zombie mode for this. So like
Yes.
if that's enough content to make it a new game, that's up to you to decide. I don't know, but I mean, I feel like if you have two different studios making content for this with the multiplayer, that's kind of counts as a full game at that point. That's just
I wonder if the campaign became so big story-wise that they decided this couldn't be an extension of Modern Warfare 2. It has to be its own game because the story is supposed to pick up huge. If you play it, I beat the campaign, which is very rare for me to do on a single player game. But if you got to the end of Modern Warfare 2 campaign, you know that the story is going to pick up a lot, especially with Makarov. So I just wonder if maybe they decided to make this a full-fledged installment in its own because of maybe the campaign is going to be big.
Yeah.
I agree
Yeah.
with Mav. I think Mav is where my
I think he's
mind
onto
initially
something.
went to
I
right
think
away.
that's
It's
the
just
quote of the
it's
day.
just get the
honestly.
last because it's the contract is for one more game. So if they
Yeah,
would have kept
true.
it till 2024, now you're pushing it out even further.
It-
Now they turn this into a game. It's a game. It
It's a
fulfills
game
that
that-
part
but
of
at the
last
same
release.
time, Activision knew that if they were going to make it a DLC, they would have to charge like less for it. Whereas now, if it's a full game, they're charging 74. They've
yeah,
already said
but
they're
they would have
charging
never even went down that route because they already knew that from the get, right? Like so they would never have even been thoughts of doing it as an expansion if that was the concern.
The
I
main
think-
thing for
I
me
think they
that
were planning
highlights
to
it-
spread it out.
I would think that the concern, like back in the day, for them would be like if they can get a full game out next year because it's a yearly cycle and they've been delayed so many times that they probably didn't know if they could get a full game out next year.
True.
Yeah, I mean, so for me, the evidence is the fact that they've broken their pattern
Yes.
because
Yes.
they broke their pattern specifically for this game. Like now they do yearly releases and they always have, but they've never done a Modern Warfare followed by a Modern Warfare or a
Correct.
Black Ops followed
Yep.
by a Black Ops or anything
Yeah.
like that. So it's
Yep.
like they took what they had and figured out, well, how far along are they on the campaign? Can we get away with doing this? Hey, maybe we'll take Treyarch's like a zombie mode and like update that, or like we'll combine all these things together to get away with releasing this full game. Hey, guess what? As an added benefit, all of your stuff carries over. Yay, right? So like
Because this should theoretically be Treyarch's game because last game was
Technically,
Vanguard.
it should be,
Yeah,
yes. But
exactly.
if you go
It's-
based on the pattern of how they swap out each developer and who helps on the back end, you're absolutely right. This should have
and
been
there's no way in a
Treyarch's
normal situation they wouldn't have taken more time and more years to drive up that anticipation for Modern Warfare 3, have Infinity Ward's name all behind it, have all these different things with the marketing and stuff, and do like Modern Warfare 3 because like that's what they did with Modern Warfare 1 and Modern Warfare 2. To have this quick turnaround after the community's kind of been dying around with Modern Warfare 2 and just prop up an update as Modern Warfare 3 kind of is like not normal like market. It's not even a good idea, really. Like if I'm being honest, like for Activision for like the bang for the buck and what you're going to do to get a return, like this doesn't make a lot of sense for them.
Yeah, I
So
agree.
Yeah, I mean,
I look at it like from, well, if it doesn't make a lot of sense business wise, for them, like what's the other alternative? And for me, a $70 billion deal is getting done right at the same time.
Yeah,
And there's this
exactly.
lingering contract that you have with Sony, and that maybe is enough of an emphasis for them just to close that chapter. Right.
Yeah, it's too big of a thing happening right now to just kind of be like, this is something random. You
Well,
know, like
I
it just
know that.
It's strange.
Well, here, Charlie Intel, which if you're not following them, you probably should, because they are the source when it comes to Call of Duty. They have confirmed that they're saying on a tweet, and this is an older tweet, folks, but I just want, because there's some question in the chat about pricing. Activision has confirmed that Modern Warfare 3 is a full premium release and will be priced at $70. There is no upgrade price, and it's not an expansion, according to Charlie Intel.
Yep.
And they go on to say, quoted, as stated in numerous Activision Blizzard quarterly conference calls, Modern Warfare 3 is a premium release, according to what Charlie Intel. So
A premium release that uses all the same code updated.
Yes, which is come out. Yeah.
So
which
like,
is what
you
which is
get
what
I'm
they're
saying,
going to do that
right?
anyway, though.
Well,
it's gonna feel like a
not
different
normally.
Call of Duty. They already said, well, there's rumors right now that it's going to be 150 health, so the time to kill is going to be a little longer, and the movement speed and slide canceling is already coming back from older style Call of Duties, so it's going to feel different.
Give me 1 sec. I'll be right back. Apologies.
Yeah. Take your time. But yeah, listen. Let's Jasper. I mean, is this going to be a day one for you if it's not Game Pass?
I may still be playing Starfield. That's the thing. Like right now, there's so much coming out. Like I can wait on Call of Duty because it's not like the most mind-blowing experience like I need to have or whatever. So it's like, I may pass on it for a couple months until like maybe get it on sale for 50 or so. Or
okay, that's fair. That's definitely fair. See, Money, what about you, man? Obviously, I know you play online a lot. Is this a no-go for you based on what we learned? You know, obviously we've seen they're using code for Modern Warfare 2. They're making some adjustments. I don't know if it's going to be that different that people are going to be like, oh man, I got to play this game. I'm a single player guy. I buy it only for single player. So if anyone gets the short end of the stick, it's me because I'm paying $76. And usually when there's a higher edition, I just always buy the higher edition. Now I've dabbled with Modern Warfare Online. It's fun. It's like Call of Duty. I have fun with it, but it's not my go-to at all. Yeah. Is this a pass for you if it's not Game Pass?
I mean, to be honest with you, as far as Call of Duty is concerned, like I did Call of Duties. I'm very similar. I normally get them for the single player. But this particular one, Modern Warfare 2, I finally I did it with Modern Warfare 1, but Modern Warfare 2, I actually jumped in and got a little more invested. Like I was digging the maps and the way it feels. I feel like this was a nice version that they came out with. And so it was good news for me to hear that everything is passing over because I actually bought some stuff because, you know, the problem with Call of Duty is that it's pay to win. Like you can literally buy the upgraded guns that people have to grind so long for. So, you know, it does, as much as that sucks in theory, it's great for somebody like me who I just picked it up a few months ago on a sale that BattleNet was having. So I bought it and then I went and now I have a bunch of skins and some upgraded weapons. So I mean, I'm glad that everything's transferring over to 3. And you know, at the end of the day, I still really believe that it's going to come into Game Pass this year. Jim, for me, I just can't let it go. Jim would not be out here saying out loud that he doesn't think it makes sense for him to market a game that's for Xbox and then just let everything be easy peasy and spend. Remember, they're not doing this for charity. Like they're spending 10% of their entire gross income on Call of Duty and giving that to Xbox if they don't back out of the deal. So they're losing an extra 10% on arguably what's going to be the best year for Call of Duty for PlayStation. after this, it's all unknown. We don't know how it's going to turn out in the next few years as Call of Duty aligns itself further and further with Xbox. So for all intents and purposes, I feel like Jimmy, being the money man that he is, I just don't think he would say that out loud, right? Knowing that it's, out there for everybody to see, if he doesn't plan on backing out. And we've heard from people, Boom, that they've heard that it's going to go into Game Pass, and we could only assume that the people we heard that from heard it from people who would know, right?
Yeah,
And I don't.
it's true.
Like, I feel like Phil is going to be like, the only way for the world to know that we bought Activision this year is to put Call of Duty into Game Pass. That's what I think. So my mind doesn't even fathom the idea of it not being in Game Pass this year. If it happens where it's not going to be, then I'm just going to wait again. I know it'll be in next year, so I'll just wait. I don't have a rush for it at all.
Yeah, I mean, listen. I think that Starfield, which we're gonna talk about in a hot second, because there are some people potentially getting some codes. I don't think I'm going to be one of them. I applied, folks. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. I'm trying, because I did review Gears of War 5, and I did review Forza Horizon 5. So I did get those codes from Xbox. Bethesda's handling the codes. It's a Bethesda joint, so of course they're going to handle it. I don't know if the channel's big enough to get one. I know that ACG's out there, and I love ACG. That dude's amazing. He put a space shuttle, it's flying into space. It's just a GIF, and I'm like, you're killing me, dude.
He has it.
We've seen a couple of people talk about it. Who was it? It wasn't Tom Henderson. Was it? Yeah. Was it Tom Henderson? Yeah, I think it was Tom Henderson that actually said that the codes are going out by the end of the week. I'm checking my email every day, the business email, hoping that I look and say, hey, here's your code for Star. Oh my God. And I won't be able to talk about it. So I'm excited. Guys, let's talk Starfield for a second, because now we're 16 days away. We're half a month away.
It's coming.
What is arguably one of the most anticipated games of the year. Like I said, listen, I get it. Spider-Man's going to be big. I get Mortal Kombat's going to be big. Zelda was huge. Just so many. This year in games is just bonkers. Like, I'm actually going to have a really hard time, A, finishing everything, and B, actually making a top 10 list where I'm going to be confident what my 2 through 10 are going to be, because I have a feeling Starfield's going to be number 1. I'm a Bethesda guy. I'm a Todd Howard guy. I've been a fan of his for years. The fact that we're getting this dream of his that he thought about 2.5 decades ago when he first started. This is his magnus opus, if you will. That this is what he's always wanted to do. I'm hyped beyond belief, and I will say this, and again, it's not a topic, but I'm disappointed in Xbox that we didn't get a custom console for a game this big. Like, honestly, if you would have only made
wasted
like an
opportunity
S, because it's white and you don't have to do much but throw some stripes on there, I would have bought a new S. You would have got my money. The fact that we don't have one and I have to go and try and find someone on Etsy to do a vinyl skin, that's kind of shitty. I'm going to be honest with you. But I did get the collector's edition, which I can't wait. I'm going to rock that watch. I got the headset. I got the controller. I wish I would have added a console to that. I honestly do. I think ultimately it's a big miss. But let's talk about it. Mav, codes are going out at the end of the week, giving reviewers. I mean, how would you even review this game? Like, honestly, how do you even review this game? Because it's so massive. Like, I mean, do you do a review in progress? Do you do, hey, this is me after 50 hours of play, I'm going to give you my hot take? Because I find it to be pretty interesting about how this is going to be reviewed. Did you apply for a code for the channel?
I did. I applied for a launch code, not a review code for content creation. For me, reviewing Starfield would almost be a curse, as opposed to something that I would enjoy, because it would change the way I would play the game inherently, where all of a sudden I am trying to uh, explore other things I may not have, or make sure I finish it at a certain time and all of that kind of stuff. Because for me, like, if I'm reviewing a game, I got to beat it, right? And I'll be honest, I still haven't beaten Skyrim because every time I play it, I get lost in the world and I go do whatever the heck I want to.
And the
Yep.
dragon attacks the
Skyrim
college,
was
and you got to
amazing.
kill
Yeah,
the
you know,
dragon again. And it's
I never have seen the end of Skyrim. And honestly, if I'd never see it, I don't care because I have so much fun when I play that game. I never want it to end, right? And that's the way I'm probably going to feel with Starfield. When I'm playing it, I'm never going to want this experience to end. I'm going to
I
go
agree.
around to as many planets as I can find. I'm going to set up bases on all these different planets for my empire that I'm trying to build and all these kind of things, right? Like, so for me, reviewing it would almost be a detriment to the experience, right? So I personally don't want to review it, but I can't wait. Boom. We're like 16 days away
16
from the
days.
early release now,
Yeah.
and we're gonna be playing it that night. And if I get the code, I get a code. If not, it's in Game Pass, and I'm getting the early access version anyway. But I'm gonna be playing this on PC as well. I built a PC specifically to play
Nice.
Starfield
That's crazy.
in its
Good on you,
glory,
man.
man.
Good on you.
Nice.
I can't wait for the experience, dude. And I am going to relish in every moment of it. So, but yeah, I hope you get the review code, but also I'll be feeling bad for you if you do, because man, that is some pressure right there to beat this
I
monster
feel that.
game.
I feel that. I feel that 100%. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, I probably wouldn't want to be the sucker who has to review this game because it's too much. You know what I'm saying?
It is a
Like you have to rush through it.
you know, the Gears of War video that I did, I think it was. You go check. You can go look at go to the channel, put Gears of 5. I put my heart and soul into that video. As a matter of fact, Rod Ferguson actually congratulated me for it. He was very happy with the way the video went. It took me about, I think, 13 hours to do that video. Like it was long, dude. So obviously, if I'm gonna do it, it's gonna be a lot of playing this game. It would be a review in progress. So I'm up for the challenge. I would love for the opportunity to do so. Listen, before we let Mav go, Mav, there was some conversation with Rand Althor and Jez Corden, two very good friends of mine. And they have a $10 bet, on where Starfield falls on Steam numbers. Now, obviously, the talk of the town, and for very good reason, is Baldur's Gate 3. I think they broke their own record. I think it was like 873,000 concurrent players, which is unbelievable. I mean, freaking awesome. Where do you see or can Starfield break records never before seen on Steam?
Oh man, well, it's one of the most bought games, even though it's not even out yet on Steam. So it already has a really good head start. Baldur's Gate 3 is kind of a monster right now. I love it. I love the game, and I've been playing the crap out of it. I will say it depends, because there's a lot of Steam users, right? But that Game Pass value may actually lower some of the Steam users because PC Game Pass, right? So if enough people are playing it on PC Game Pass, you may have a couple million or whatever. That could inherently lower potentially the Steam numbers as far as concurrent players. So it depends on the metric. Like for me, like Baldur's Gate 3, that's just the only place to get it really right now, I think. So as that goes, I think that's seeing why one of the reasons why you have such a huge uptick in those numbers for that game. But when Starfield comes out, you're gonna have people playing on Xbox consoles. You're gonna have people playing on Xbox PC. You're gonna have people playing on PC Game Pass, and you'll have people playing on Steam. So there will inherently be more people playing the game than Baldur's Gate 3. I have no doubt about that whatsoever. But if you're speaking specifically to Steam numbers, I think it's going to do monster numbers. but it's not every day where we see a game do the numbers like a Baldur's Gate 3 has, right?
That's
So,
true. Yeah.
It's going to be hard to meet that just because people got other more options, right? For Starfield. So it's gonna. I don't know, man. But regardless, I know one thing: it'll have a lot more players on Steam than Spider-Man 2, because that'll have 0.
Yeah, that is very true because Spider-Man is only releasing on PlayStation 5, no PC release, which is very unfortunate. But you know, we'll see. Well, the sales number is going to be interesting. See, Money, let's get your hot take on this, man. Where? I mean, obviously the excitement is there. We're 16 days away. Are you playing early access?
Yeah, so I got the collector's edition too. So I don't
Nice.
know. Is it going to? We're getting it on the 1st, right?
I would imagine. I mean, like, where did you get yours from? I got mine from the
Bethesda.
Microsoft store. So
I think the first place it was up was on Bethesda.
Oh, so we're probably gonna get it. We might even get it the day before. Like,
see, that's what I want because
me too.
that's messed up because they're gonna play August 31st at 8 p.m. Eastern time if you have it digital. And
yes.
that annoyed me. I was like, no, I got the collector's edition. Like, I'm like this close to just buying it again so I can have it.
I mean, listen, I've done that before because I'm not going to miss a day. I'm going to be honest with you. Nope. And then obviously, if I had the game, I could logistically sell the digital code to somebody. Hey, listen, whatever, and I paid the $30. Give me $30, and that's my $30 back. It's fine. But
absolutely.
I mean, do you agree with Mav? Do you think that because of Game Pass, we may not see breaking Steam numbers?
Yeah, so I was first trying to get my head. Is BG3 only on Steam?
No, it's on GOG for sure. It may be on Epic.
Okay. Yeah, so that's what I was gonna say. So I would venture like Steam, as much as Game Pass is great. Steam is its own ecosystem.
It like, sure is.
The people who rock on Steam. They don't give a flying F that Microsoft is going to get it on Game Pass. They want it with their Steam achievements. They want to get their Steam cards or whatever they're going to get from it, their Steam points. So I would pretty easily say if BG3 did these things with 0 hype, okay, and like
literally 0 hype,
0 hype, okay, they did these numbers. The world is waiting for Starfield.
I agree. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like the world is waiting for Starfield. So if it doesn't beat BG3 numbers, I'll be so flabbergasted. Like I couldn't even.
Me too.
I couldn't even imagine that concept because there's so many people who are waiting. There's PC people who are waiting, Xbox heads that are waiting, PlayStation people who are waiting, who are going to buy it on PC or bought an Xbox to play it, right? Like everyone's waiting for this game. So I think that they I think they do it for sure. I think they beat BG3's number. I think they go up a few ranks where I would venture they'll be in the top 5 most played games on Steam. When it's all said and done.
Well, it's one of the most pre-ordered games right now on Steam. It's number 1 for a reason.
Absolutely.
So I like I said, I threw a number out there and people were like, no way. Yeah, I think it's 2 million plus people are gonna be playing this
I think
game
it's possible. What's the highest amount? What's the highest amount that there's been?
I just looked at Fallout 4. I don't know if it's the highest amount, but it was 471,000 was the max on Fallout 4.
Yeah,
so
I'm talking about just in Steam's ranking, right? Like what was the top?
I think that PUBG was 3 million.
Okay.
Wow.
So
then Starfield definitely has possibility to do that.
Oh my god, 2 million I think is a good number. But
some people might think that's far-fetched, but I think that's possible.
Yeah. I think easily it gets into the top 5. It's just if this game can't do it, what other game could? I'm telling you, there's too much hype, dude.
Yeah,
there's everybody's hype, yo. There's nobody out there who's like not excited. Again, PlayStation fans talk more about Starfield than Xbox fans do. Okay, when you talk about hype, everybody's hyped for this damn game. Bro.
Yeah, and you know something, you are definitely onto something because that is the running thing. There are actually people still thinking that the game is gonna magically be announced at the last minute for PlayStation 5.
Praying.
Folks, just buy an
praying to their
Xbox or
gods.
play on your
No.
$5,000 rig.
Please.
Dusty, let's get your take. We'll get Jasper's opinion after that, and then we'll get everyone out of here, and I'll catch up on the super chats. But do you see this breaking Steam records?
Yes.
Are you playing day one? Like are you playing early?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
excellent.
So August 31st is a Thursday, and I work until 5 p.m. and I live on the West Coast. So this is perfect for me because I know
boom, it's ready. There you go.
Right? Because even if I got home at like 4 o'clock, 4:30, or I took off work, the game is not going to load completely right away. We know how launches are, like
Right.
Not everybody gets in at first. They did say that depending on when you purchased your early access, you're kind of going to be entering in waves it seems for right now, which is expected because this is going to be massive, absolutely huge. And it's funny because last night I was teaching class, and I leaned over to one of my old students that came to class, and I said to him, I just want to say to you real quick, Starfield. And he looks at me and he goes, yeah. And I was like, yes. And it was funny because I could swear, the student next to him to his right went like this. I could have sworn I saw her acknowledge it. So this is Starfield to me is something like a Star Wars. This is multi-generational. Everybody's looking at this. You know what I mean? Like you're going to show this to your kids one day. This is the game that I got to experience and play, and it's still beautiful. And who doesn't okay, I don't know if anybody's played Star Trek Online, but I loved Star Trek Online. And one of the best things about Star Trek Online is having your own ships and just going through the entire galaxy that they give you in that game. And now when I see Starfield, this is what I daydreamed about when playing Star Trek Online. One day I cannot wait to have a game that just looks as real as humanly possible, but just takes us all beyond the stars. Like I grew up a Trekkie, and I grew up watching Star Wars. My dad made us watch both. So I am all about the stars. You know what I mean? When I directed a dance team that was called Starfleet. Okay. So that just goes to show you, I'm a space cadet, till I die. So when I first saw everything about this game, I lost my shiznizzle, for lack of a better word. And I think if this doesn't hit 2 million players, because some people might be like 2 million. I mean, yeah, this is going to break records, but 2 million, to me, that is very possible just because just go somewhere in a public setting, see somebody that you think unsuspecting, and just whisper to them Starfield, see what happens. Don't get in trouble. But I guarantee, not too close. You don't want to be in their ear. You know what I'm saying? But I guarantee you other people know about this game, even if they're not even sure if they're going to be playing it. Even if they're not a gamer, they know about this game because they see it. They see people talking about it. This is cultural, and I love it. I have friends, from overseas that are going to play this game that I still talk to from my other life, and we connect through gaming, and they're going to be playing this game. There's no other way to put it.
People are going to buy consoles for this game. This is.
They already have.
People have already. This is one of those situations where, if you remember the Year of Dreams for PlayStation, people went out when they saw Spider-Man, and a year before it was released, bought a PlayStation 4. Even if they didn't hook it up, I'm ready for this game. And I really think that, I know there's been some talk about Microsoft not having enough consoles. I think that if there's a warehouse, they're going to be delivering these left, right, and center. The Starfield's going to be a system seller for sure.
If stores aren't selling out, not every store, but if stores themselves are not selling out of consoles because of the release of this game, that would actually surprise me too. Because my local Best Buy and GameStop, they only ever carry so much. So
Right.
when they're gone, it's going to be a few weeks before they're ever back,
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, I showed my wife, and space kind of like freaks her out, right? The concept of not knowing what's out there scares her. But when I showed her some of this game, even she was like, whoa. And I was like, you see that moon in the background? Yeah, they're about to tell you in 3 seconds that you can go to that. Like, it's not just background. You can go to that. Like, so now she understands why I'm losing my mind every day about this. I'm going nuts.
No, yeah, I love the idea that you look at it, you see it, you can go to it. I think that's dope.
Because that's what you want it to be.
Yeah,
we all want to explore space. We want to know what's
I am
out
gonna
there.
be like a dog. I'm gonna look over there and say, "Oh, that's shiny over there. And the mission's over here, but I'm going over there." I know how I'm gonna play this game. So I'm gonna get lost in it. Jasper, let's get your hot take and we'll get everyone out of here. And of course, I'll catch up on the super chats. Jasper, are you a day one player? And do you think that this is actually gonna break records on Steam?
Yeah, I've already bought it on the Xbox Game Pass app, so that's where I'm playing it. I'm not going to play it on Steam. So that's kind of where I go back and forth, because the cheapest barrier to entry just to play Starfield is through Game Pass on PC. So it's like, are people going to cheap out just even though they don't like that ecosystem from Xbox on there? Like, I mean, people may do that because they save $40. So I don't know. But at the same time, like, Bethesda's never had a major launch as Steam is their native platform just yet, because before they used to do it on the Bethesda launcher, and that's no longer a thing. It's all Steam now. So maybe all the Bethesda people finally jump over to Steam and play it there. So like, I'm back and forth. I can't confidently say one way or another that is like more Steam players or more not, because Game Pass is a monster now and Steam is a monster. So it's like, where do people pick and choose? If they have to upgrade their PCs, the cheapest way to play the game at that point would just be to get a Series S. So it's like, I can't say
use cloud gaming. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but no one wants to play cloud gaming.
I wouldn't speak that fast. I'm an avid cloud gamer, so I wouldn't speak that fast. You got to be in the community.
I'm gonna when I'm watching TV with the missus, because I know I'm gonna get addicted to this game. I have the ROG Ally, which is gonna be my game, which is gonna be my Starfield machine when I'm not.
When Starfield comes to GeForce Now, RTX 4080 tier is what I will be using to play this game.
Wow.
And that will be at 4K 60, no problem.
Listen, folks, get excited. 16 days away. Starfield is around the corner. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. If you're still here, to hit the like button. If you're finding the channel for the first time, please consider subscribing. We're on the hunt for 14K. And hopefully you, like I said, enjoyed the show enough to subscribe. We do this 5 days a week, 5 different panels, all different content. And we never use hate mongering to sell the channel. We will get pointed on some conversations like we did today, specifically about IGN, and they were right to get the smoke. But before we get to the outros, Terrell Smile drops a very generous $1 super chat. And Terrell, thank you so much for being here. We also have Highlander 001 drops an additional $5 super chat. Says, I do not play Call of Duty with my kids or friends. I lived it for 12 years. It does not help with my PTSD. I did my time in the sandbox. Now I hate sand. Yeah, I mean, dude, that's a real thing. People don't understand that PTSD is a real thing, brother.
Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah. So listen, stay away from it, because you don't want it to trigger you. And you're not missing anything. There's so many good games coming out. Starfield being one of them that's going to take up your life. Wolverine, Double X Wolverine Double X drops a very generous additional $5 super chat. It says, haven't played Call of Duty campaign in like 10 years, but multiplayer Warzone daily. Yeah, good on you, dude. Like, I'm in it for the campaign. I like the story. I know that they're bombastic and they're sometimes ridiculous, but that's why I like them. And of course, Wolverine, Double X Wolverine Double X drops another additional $2 super chat. Says, boom, got to run Call of Duty with a squad. Enjoy yourself, brother. Drawn TJ drops a very generous $2 super chat. And says, they came out and said it's 50 like DLC. Yeah, unfortunately, it's not. It is a full-on 76.43 if you live here in New Rochelle release. If you live other places, it could be more, it could be less. But yes, it's a full-on $70 game. We also have Rider for Life 76 drops a very generous $10 super chat and says, what's up, panel? Off topic. Play Baldur's Gate 3. One of your panel members said in the last show that it's you that's rolling the dice for everything. LOL. He was wrong, but play the game. It's awesome. Yeah, dude. I when it comes to Xbox, I'm probably going to give it a shot. It's going to be my first CRPG. I have FOMO. I've seen a lot of videos. Game looks great, but I don't know, man. There's a lot of stuff going on the screen. I'm not a CRPG guy. What I'm hoping for is that when it finally releases on Xbox, that they drop it into Game Pass. They give them a bag of money because it's gonna be a big deal.
They get that into
Xbox Game Pass.
We're so sorry.
Yeah. No, it's gonna be a big deal when that releases next year, and everyone has. I mean, I'm gonna be playing Starfield still, but people are gonna, it's gonna be a little over Starfield to some extent. If that's in Game Pass day one, I will definitely give it a shot. But listen, gentlemen, I want to thank everyone on the panel today for being here and basically saving the show, because this would have been a shorter show, but we had an amazing group of people. Jasper, I want to start with you, brother. Please, by all means, sell your brand. Tell everyone where they can follow you on social media, but more importantly, what else you got going on? What other shows are you on? People want to hear your opinions.
Yeah. Yo, check it out. That's how I do my intro on Mav's show. So I'm going to do it here too. Lord Jasper Twitter, Lord Master Jasper YouTube. And then I'm going to be streaming Starfield when it comes out on the 31st at 8 p.m. So that's probably my next big thing on my channel. So check that out. And then it's Monday and Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern time on Fun Speculation channel with FSP and Xbox Ultimate. That's where I'm at. That's what I do. You can check that out. I'm sure Mav will say more about it.
Yeah, appreciate it. We appreciate you being here. And of course, thank you for sharing your opinions on what transpired yesterday. And obviously, we were all happy to talk about it. And I was again, I don't get happy about having to give the smoke, but I won't stay quiet. And I'm glad that we had an adult conversation about what happened yesterday. And like I said, I unfortunately don't think you're going to get an apology from Max.
It's all right.
And that's fine. If you're okay with it, I'm okay with it because it wasn't me. I find that to be very disappointing. In fact, that's the case because 24 hours after it happened, cooler heads for Max should have prevailed. And unfortunately, if he doesn't, I put it this way: if we do not hear anything from Max Scofield on this, it just proves one thing, that he is an unprofessional individual, and you we shouldn't waste your time with him, because, like I said, a real man would have seen this happen. Would have taken a couple hours after they wrote what they wrote and be like, you know what? I was kind of a dick and maybe I should fix that. And the fact that he hasn't yet tells me all I need to know. But thank you for being here. Mav, once again, brother, thank you for coming back home, if you will. Where could people check out your incredible YouTube channel, subscribe, help you continue to grow the brand, and more importantly, reach out to you on social media?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Boom. It was awesome to be here with Jasper. Also, C-Money and Dusty, first time I think able to podcast with you guys. So a pleasure to be sitting here with you guys as well. But if anybody wants to find us on YouTube, go to Fun Speculation and you will catch 3 shows. Mondays, we have FSP, Monday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern time. Thursdays, we have PM in the PM at 7 p.m. Eastern time with my buddy Pong Soul and I, and I'm sure we'll have more to say about this then as well. And then Friday night at 10 p.m. Eastern time, back for Xbox Ultimate Podcast. And sometimes we do game streams and just random solo conversations as well when there's something that pops, right? But appreciate it, Boom. It's good to be back, and I have to do it again.
Yeah, absolutely, brother. Great to have you back. Shout out to Caitlin in the chat, which, of course, is your wife. And shout out to Doodle, who, of course, is C Money's wife. Caitlin just put in Jasper equals the GOAT, indeed. Thank you so much, for Caitlin, for being here. Thank you for Doodle to being here as well. And speaking of which, C Money, sell your brand, brother. Talk about one of the most unique podcasts on YouTube. You obviously podcast with your wife and your kids. And not only that, you even have a one-on-one podcast with your wife where you talk about certain hot topics. Sell it, man. Tell everyone where they can check out your YouTube channel, help you guys get to 11K. And more importantly, where can people reach out to you on social media?
Oh, thank you so much, man. Again, appreciate you having us on. Same Mav and Jasper. It was first time chilling
Yep.
with you guys. Appreciate it. Nice meeting you guys. Dusty, good as always. Yeah, man. So on Twitter, I have it. It's right on my name display over here. It's at C Money Forever. You can follow me there. Trying to catch up to all my other homies out here. You know, to get more followers on there. So stop by, and I would appreciate the follow. And yeah, so our channel is on this side. It's Mario Kart Madman. So even though that sounds like it's a Nintendo channel, it's not. Like Boom said, it's a channel we have with my family. So my son, he's 16 years old, and my wife, we do a podcast called On Point, the Gaming Newscast. We do that every Saturday. We've come to look at it more as like a pop-up podcast because we do not have a fixed time for it. Unfortunately, I know that's a no-no. But we have 6 kids. We're pretty busy folk. But we do it on Saturday. So follow us on YouTube, hit that bell so you'll know when we're going live. You can hit our Discord too. I put it up on Twitter as well, but it's kind of like a, hey, we'll be live in 30, you know. So but yeah, and then we also, like Boom said, I have a show that I do with my wife. It's called Her, Him, and a Mic. And we talk about whatever, you know, hot topic that we got going on that we feel excited about. You know, the last one we did was we talked about the Barbie movie that just came out. And how unexpectedly like deep that was, and you know how as a father and as parents of, you know, young girls, you know, what it meant for them. So definitely check that out. But yeah, other than that, you know, we do other shows as well. We do some live streams. We're probably gonna be live streaming. I think we're doing something tonight. But I'll definitely let you guys know on Twitter. And me, and for the first time, Madman, my son, will be joining Infinite Umbra and Daniel McGee on Thursday nights. The
Very
Fix.
nice, dude. That's awesome.
Right.
So
Fix.
that's
The new
gonna-
episode of The Fix. Yeah, it's great.
yeah, The Fix. Yeah, man. So that's going to be super dope. So we're really excited there. So check us out there as well. But yeah, like Boom said, we're on the hunt for 11,000. We're like 100 and change away. You know, so if you stop by, throw us that sub. I appreciate it. I would put the link in the chat, but my link doesn't have the power to be clicked.
Yeah, I'll drop it in there right now, brother. I'll drop it in there.
I appreciate it, my man. But aside from that, thank you again, Boom. This was dope. Love chilling with the panel. And till next time, man.
Thank you, brother. Certainly appreciate that. Listen, Dusty, sell your brand, brother. Talk about, I mean, you've made some big changes. You got a lot of things going on with your YouTube channel. Where could people subscribe, and where could people reach out to you on social media?
So I am, well, actually, you know, before I even say that, first and foremost, just like everyone else, I got to thank you, Boom, for allowing me to jump in. I know you were shorthanded. You didn't have to let me in.
Oh, no,
but
thank you for joining it. I appreciate everyone being here, because this would have been a very short show. So
as soon as you said it was just you two, and everybody else unfortunately had to, you know, back out of the show. I was going to say something else. I immediately DM'd you and said, if you need it, I'm here, bro. But thank you for allowing me to be here. It was great to be on a show again with C Money. That's my brother right there. Sorry, Doodle. I'm going to taking him away from you. That's my new bro. Jasper and Mav, you guys, I've listened to you for a very long time. So this is the first time I get to say it to you guys, technically in person. But I'm happy to finally have been, you know, doing a show with y'all. I've been wanting to do this for a very long time. And now that I am doing my own show, my own production, if you will, called G-Wave TV on the channel, The Dusty Uno, which is my personal channel. I would love for you guys one day to be guests on the show. You guys always have great energy, great outlook on gaming. And, you know, I had C Money on the show. He was a great guest. Boom. I know you're busy, and because I'm on the West Coast, my times are horrible, but one day, hopefully I can get you there as well.
100%, really, dude. Absolutely. Yeah.
But that is where I am doing the show now. And I'm at around, I think, 574 subscribers. So thank you to everybody who recently subbed. We're on the road to 1K, the first big hump. And honestly, I'm just taking my time with it. I'm enjoying it every day and just making better changes, you know, here and there, step by step. And for all of you that have been pushing out like my tweets and everything, or my sheets, and everything on X Twitter.
Zeets.
My zeets, my zeets. You know, especially you, Boom, like all of you, just you have no idea how much it means to me, because this has been a long time coming, and the last couple of years has been very difficult for personal reasons, that I almost gave up on not just this, but also dancing. And for those of you that don't know, I'm a longtime professional dancer.
Yes.
And I felt like giving up on everything. But I kept watching these shows, these podcasters, these great minds within the world of gaming. And I was like, I can do this too. And I'm going to do this.
Yep.
So here I am. Thank you guys for helping elevate my platform. And I just can't wait to continue to share this space with all of you.
Yep. Well, listen, it's great to have you a part of this. I'm glad to see that your journey did not stop, because obviously, you know, it's important. You have a love for something to continue doing that, and you did, and that's like literally the first big step, is that you're like, no, I am gonna do this.
Yes.
Listen, trust me, if a retired cop could somehow find an audience who's an old bastard, the oldest guy in the room, 52, going to be 53 next month, I'm pretty sure anyone can do it as well, because it's hard work, folks. It's not easy, but if consistency, that's really what it comes down to. If you care about the craft, people will care, and if you care, they'll care, and that's how you gain your audience. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for today's show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much to the panel for being here. Again, this would have been a very short show. Normally we have 4 people in and out, but everyone had something happen today. It's just one of those kind of crazy days. But everyone that you normally see here on Tuesdays, Dan McGee, Umbra, Infinite Umbra, and of course Retri, they'll all be back next week, and we will continue the conversation. Hopefully at that point, or at least by the end of this week, because we're all on CMA watch, right? Hopefully that's going to happen either late today, early tomorrow, definitely, hopefully before Friday, so we can just close the book on that era of the gaming, nonsense known as ABK, and we'll move on to something else. We talk about games, really, what it comes down to. A big shout out to, my goodness, so many super chats that came in today. Obviously, they're used for many purposes, keeping up to date with the software and the hardware that makes these shows go, but also, more importantly, is the big giveaways. And we have 4 monster giveaways happening from September to December, and they're all going to equate to about $3,500 worth of giveaways. And we can't do that, folks, without the super chats and the channel memberships. So a big thank you for that. And of course, I'm going to close out the show with something that's incredibly important to me. Hopefully one day it'll be important to you. And that's something that my dad taught us when we were kids. And he would say, Craig, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, Craig. I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. And we'll see you next week on the newest episode of the Xbox Factor Podcast.